Warm greetings, very good evening, and a warm welcome to all for another session of Friday Waters.Theses Club. The idea of Friday Waters is to wet the Fridays with fun-filled and yet fruitful activities for the future generation. Friday Waters has water talkies, book reading, thesis club, and water arts. The focus of Water Thesis Club is on bringing the student scholars who have done or are doing a thesis alias research on water matters to the session in order to discuss with them the making of the thesis or research and the issues around the subject covered. I am Monami Bhattacharya, the moderator for today's Thesis Club session, and I'm joined by Professor Sonia Gupta from Boston University as a discussant for today's Thesis Club session. For today's session, we welcome Ashraf Bhat to share his research on wastewater treatment with a novel clean-green bioreactor SHEFROL. Dr. Ashraf Zainabi, his pen name, has 14 years of research experience in water and wastewater management. Dr. Bhat is an expert in constructed or artificial wetland technology for sewage treatment. Dr. Bhat has developed several constructed wetlands on ground that treat sewage as efficiently as conventional sewage treatment systems. Dr. Bhat has published a dozen of high-impact research articles in Elsevier, Springer, Taylor, and Francis journals. Dr. Bhat is also a recipient of several awards and fellowships. Welcome again, Ashraf Bhat. May I now invite Sonia ma'am to take the session further with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Manami. And welcome once again, Dr. Ashraf, to the Thesis Club. Yes, and thanks so much for sharing your presentation ahead. It is definitely a wonderful solution to a very persistent problem. And as we go through your presentation and with your explanations, I'm sure it will open up to a lot of discussion and deliberations regarding how this problem can really come to the aid of many of our peculiar problems. So I will give the screen over to you now, and after your presentation, we will discuss. There will be questions, and we will go forward with that. Over to you.
Thank you, Professor Sonia ma'am, and thank you, Manami, and thank you, the organizers of this Friday Water Thesis Club. This is Ashraf Bhat. My full name is Mohammad Ashraf Bhat, and I belong to Badgam, district Badgam of Jammu and Kashmir. I have done my PhD at Pondicherry Central University under the guidance of now Emeritus Professor Shahid Abbasi, and also under the co-supervision of Dr. Tasneem Abbasi. And it's a hard work of 6 years, and this work has led to the grant of patent, and we are very happy about that. So coming back to the work which we have done during the PhD, the title goes like Wastewater Treatment with a Novel Clean-Green Bioreactor SHEFROL. See, the title itself indicates that that we have developed a system that assists us in wastewater treatment. Now, the word SHEFROL is not a common name. Actually, it's a registered name that has been registered with the registering agencies for this technology. And I will explain in coming slides what this SHEFROL indicates and how this system, how this technology helps us in wastewater treatment. If going to the next slide, please. Can somebody help me? Yes. Next again. Next, please. Bring on all the text. Yes. Next again. Yes. Thank you. No back. Yes. Thank you. You can, if we look at this slide, we can see that at one side that India is progressing tremendously at many fronts. India is progressing. India is one of the greatest nations in the world, but this wastewater issue is a very big issue in India. Even we have touched the moon, we have various milestones in the history of the India, but this wastewater generation, and then it is it is being discharged unscientifically into our rivers, into our wetlands, into our ponds. That creates tremendous amount of pollution to these water bodies. See, these statistics are available on Google. Anybody can see that between 2009 to 2015, India has only made 19% progress in establishing the sewage treatment facilities, but the sewage generation rate is 62%. This imbalance between sewage generation and sewage treatment leads to enormous and huge problem and huge setback to our water bodies, especially rivers, lakes, and wetlands. Next. And we all know that sewage treatment facilities are only available in cities and major towns. Like if we will go to Delhi, there are sewage treatment plants. If we will go to Bangalore, if we will go to Chennai, if we will go to Kolkata, there are sewage treatment plants that treats the sewage generated by the cities. What about the towns and villages? Where that sewage goes? That sewage goes directly to our freshwater bodies like rivers, ponds, lakes. And recent in couple of years, you have seen that in Bangalore there's a lake. The wastewater from those multinational companies that is going to the lake, and even that there was a report that fire flames were erupting from that lake. So even if India is trying its best to manage this wastewater, but we are still miles away. We are still very much away in realizing the at least not 100%, at least near to 100% solution to the sewage problem. That so when there's a deficiency of this, when there's a deficiency of these systems that help in treatment of wastewaters, there's a question, why is such deficiency? The major question is why there is such deficiency. Right? Deficiency is because these systems are very economical. It needs huge amount of money to put these systems in place, to monitor them, and it needs skilled workforce. It needs a lot of management. So that is why we are lagging behind in sewage generation and sewage treatment. So here comes the solution, that there are artificial wetlands, or what we call the constructed wetlands. They have been tried since 70 to 80 years in many countries. Even India, in India also, the plant-based sewage treatment systems, which we call as constructed wetlands or artificial wetlands, they have been tried and they have been tested, and they are treating the sewage as efficiently as the conventional sewage treatment plants do. So what is new in our system? Please move on slide. Next slide. Next slide again. I will skip these textual slides. Next. So what is new in, yes, please here. What is different in our technology that we have named SHEFROL and than other plant-based systems? Other plant-based systems, they mostly need a large area of land to install, and they work on the hydraulic retention time of the those systems plant which has been tested earlier. They need 24 hours to 48 hours hydraulic retention time. Meaning that wastewater has to stay in the system for 24 hours to up to 48 hours. Then though that's wastewater is allowed to move out of the system in a treated form. But in case we have worked on this aspect. Our system only requires 8 to 10 hours of hydraulic retention time. Means the wastewater will stay only 8 to 10 or maximum 12 hours in the system, and it will get treated as efficiently as conventional. How we have made it possible? How we have made to reduce the hydraulic retention time from 24 hours or 48 hours to 8 to 10 hours? That is the major what I can say achievement of this work. Actually, this technology was a brainchild of my supervisor, Professor Shahid Abbasi. We first started lab scale experiments where we thought that in other plant-based systems, conservation systems, the depth of the wastewater is almost 2 feet to 3 feet. Means the depth, means the wastewater depth in the system is 2 to 3 feet, means around 1 meter. We have reduced that depth. We allowed the wastewater to move as a sheet. We have not allowed wastewater in the system not more than 10 centimeters depth. Means that we have allowed the wastewater to move inside the system like a sheet. Like a sheet means the depth of the wastewater in the channels in the system was not more than 10 centimeters. This ensured that in the 10 centimeter, we can see what kind of plants we have used. That is different issue. If we see all the macrophytes that we have used, the root length is around 10 to 15 centimeters. The root length. I'm not talking about shoot length. The root length is around 10 to 15 centimeters. So we allowed the wastewater to move beneath the roots. So the wastewater should touch all the roots. If a microphyte has 10 to 15 centimeter root length, we allowed the wastewater to move the system in the 10 centimeter depth only. We reduced the depth of the wastewater in the system. This ensured that all of the wastewater, 10 centimeter deep wastewater, touches the root system of the plants, and that is the actual area where the treatment happens in any plant-based system. So in this connection, Professor Ashraf Bhat and his co-workers have developed this novel bioreactor named SHEFROL. SHEFROL stands for sheet flow root level, means the wastewater is flowing to the depth of 10 centimeters, only touching the roots of the plant. If let's assume if a plant has 10 centimeters root length or 50 centimeter root length, but we will allow 3 feet, 2 feet water depth in the system. So only the 10 centimeter wastewater will touch the roots, remaining will flow above the roots. Maybe it will touch the shoot system also. So we have allowed the wastewater to move through the system up to the root length of the particular plant. It makes we can use any type of plants in this system. It can be terrestrial, aquatic, or amphibious. It depends on the type of wastewater we want to treat. The working on developing this has started in 2004. After, as I told that after some laboratory tests, we have tested some 30 species of macrophytes in lab scale. Then we have put the patent claim in 2012 following. Next slide, please. The present work revolves around commissioning and performance. Now, what was my work after the laboratory scale experiments? We have taken this system out of the laboratory in the real life situations. See, there's a big difference between getting results in laboratory and getting results in field, actual field. So after around 8 years of laboratory experiment, from 2004 to 2012, we have done 8 years laboratory experiments. Some other students have done not. I have not done laboratory experiments. Some other PhD scholars have done that work. But when I joined Professor Abbas' lab in 2010, he told me that they have done this work and they want to try it now in field, actual field, whether this system survives in real life situations or whether the environment or real life climatic conditions will pose a challenge to the system. So I was given the task to at least develop 2 to 3 pilot scale plants in real life situations. Next. So during my 6 years of PhD work, I have developed I have developed 4 real life pilot plants to test this SHEFROL system, in which I have used these 4 macrophytes. One is Eichhornia crassifus, that is commonly known as water hyacinth. It is almost available in every nook and corner of India, wherever there is a lake or pond or wastewater is somewhere stagnant. You can see this Eichhornia crassifus. Then other is Salvinia mollusta. It is also known as Kariba weed or Gant salvinia. And then Ipomea aquatica, it is commonly known as water spinach. And then Mercilia quadrifolia is a 4-color leaf plant. Well, the question arises why I have tested these, why I have used these 4 macrophytes in real life, because we have tested them in they have been tested in laboratory scale for 8 years, and they have proved very efficient at laboratory scale. That's why we selected these 4 only at real life situations. Next, this is a this is a handmade diagram. This I have made with my hand. You can see first one is water hyacinth, Icornia crispus. Their root and shoot length is different than Ipomea aquatica, Mercilia quadrifolia, and Sublinia mollusta. But shoot length, whether shoot length is tall or it is short, it doesn't matter. The macrophyte at the plant which we are employing for sewage treatment, it should have a robust root system. The root system should be strong, and we find these 4 macrophytes had a robust root system. That is why we have employed them in real life SHEFROL systems also. Next. So this was my next slide. This was my first pilot plant commissioning and performance assessment of a pilot plant. Why we have named it SHEFROL 1? Because this was a first pilot plant that we have commissioned at real life situations. Then we have designated as SHEFROL 1. Similarly, you will find SHEFROL 2, 3, and 4. So it's an indication, it's just a tag, a particular plant, a particular real life pilot plant. So this system treated 50,000 liters of septic tank effluent per day. Next slide. This is the This was the location of this first pilot plant in Pondicherry University campus. There was a Department of Distance Education building, you can see, and behind that distance of Department of Education building, there was a sewer line. Means that sewer line carried the wastewater generated by female hostels. In Pondicherry University, at that time there were 12 female hostels. 12. So there was lot of sewage generation from those hostels, and a sewer line that was coming at the back of this building, Department of Distance Education. Then we decided to took a permission from the university, and then we decided that we will bypass this sewer line, and we will get some portion of wastewater to our pilot plant, SHEFROL pilot plant. So we will monitor, and we will check the performance of the SHEFROL pilot plant for 1 year. Next slide. This is the schematic. Next slide. This is the schematic of this SHEFROL 1. You can see the wastewater influent manhole. This we have designated that this was getting receiving the wastewater from hostels. We have diverted a portion of this wastewater to our system. We have dug out one settling tank. The dimensions given on the right hand side, 2 by 2 by 2, length, width, and depth. And then we have dug out 6 zigzag channels. You can see from settling tank, the water was coming inside channel 1. Then at the end of the channel 1, it was entering into channel 2, similarly 3, 4, 5, and 6. And at the end of the channel 6, the treated wastewater was coming out again to the same sewer line which carried the wastewater. So here we have not used the treated wastewater in any agricultural or horticulture purpose. We have allowed the treated wastewater to go into this sea, because the Pondicherry University is located on the east coast of the India. Means the highway that connects Chennai and Pondicherry, there's a coastline, and then all the wastewater from the university goes into the sea. So this first SHEFROL, we have treated 50,000 liters of wastewater per day, and the plant, the macrophyte which we used was Salvinia mollusta. You can see 6 in series SHEFROL reactors were stocked with Salvinia mollusta. Next slide. Next slide. You can see how we have. Next slide, please. Yes. You can see how we have made the SHEFROL one. We have put the use of JCB excavator. It was a challenging task because the soil was sandy soil there. So it was very challenging. I can't explain now. You can see we have dug a certain area and we have removed the soil from that area. Then we have put the same soil in the empty cement sacks. These are discarded. The construction work, they discard the cement sacks after emptying the cement. We have collected those cement sacks. We have filled those cement sacks with the same soil, and we have made the walls and baffles for this SHEFROL one. Next, we can see we have made the walls and middle portion that we call baffles for this system. We have put necessary pipes for inlet and outlet. You can see on the right hand side photo. Then we have done a proper leveling. A skilled labor was employed to do the proper leveling, because we in this system we have not used any pump, we have not used any electrical pump or any other mechanical or electrical device to carry in and carry out the sewage from the system. It was all through means by the help of gravity, the sewage was getting inside the system, and by the help of gravity, the sewage was we used to let the sewage used to let out from the system, treated after treatment. You can see we have done the leveling. And next slide, please. Next. There were two ways to construct this SHEFROL system. One was we can have a concrete system, but since I was doing my research work, to build a concrete system of this much capacity requires a huge amount. So only for this practical purpose, only for research purpose, we didn't construct these systems in concrete fashion, but we used we made these systems, as we can say, semi-permanent systems, because after 4 or 5 years these systems require some sort of maintenance. And for lining, we have put HDPE polythene sheets to line the bases and walls of the system. You can see and the first photograph is the settling tank, and the second right hand side photograph is the actual these channels of the system. We have put HDPE sheet to line the base and the side walls of the system. Next, after collected salvinia and then we have put it in the system, you can see. And after this is after almost 3 weeks. Next slide. You can see, next slide, please. You can yes. This is the no previous one. Yes, this one. You can see this is the state of the SHEFROL one after 3 weeks. This is myself. There was some weed other than salvinia. I removed that weed, and this is the state of the system after 3 weeks. You can see the salvinia has covered the whole system from bank to bank. There's a mat-like situation in after 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks we have started the analysis, because unless and until the system was not fully covered with the salvinia molesta, we didn't carry any analytical means this performance analysis. After 3 weeks, when we were sure that salvinia has thrived nicely in the system, then we started the physicochemical analysis. Next slide. Yes, next, please. You can see these are the flow rates we have, because to check the performance of any sewage treatment plant, whether it is conventional or it is plant-based, it wholly and solely depends on how much flow rate, what is the quality of flow rate, what is the volume of flow rate. So we have to ensure that we get some not equal, because as I told you, we have not used any pump, we have not used any electrical pump, or we have not used any device that ensured uniform flow rate throughout this this practical period. Throughout this period, whatever flow was coming, we used to measure that flow regularly, thrice a day. We used to measure the flow rate thrice a day. So then we took the average of the day, and then we took average of the week, average of the month. Accordingly, we gathered the flow rate data, and this is the data. Next slide. Next slide. You can see here again we have done analysis for COD, BOD, nitrogen, phosphorus. For COD, we have done sampling at 10, 2, and 5 p.m. And after doing the analysis, after getting the results, we have also, you can see that uh, at most all the time the performance was better, means 50 to 75% removal of COD was observed throughout the time period. Minimum you can see 50 and maximum it touched to 75%. Why this variation 50 to 75? It depends on, because at the time of 50, when when we achieved 50% COD reduction, it may be because that time the flow rate may be high, and when the flow rate is high, it means that the wastewater stayed maybe 5 to 6 hours only in the system, and it got minimum time period for treatment. That's why the 50% treatment was reflected. And when there is 75%, at that time it was seen that flow rate was not so high. Flow rate was uh, 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 more or less normal, and the treatment was about 75%. Similarly, next slide, please. Similarly, in BOD, you can see we have achieved BOD reduction about 70 to 85% throughout the time period. Next slide. Similarly, total gel nitrogen, you can see we have seen the total gel, the extent of nitrogen reduction was around 35%. And next, phosphorus, you can see it was around 25 to 28% reduction in this SHEFROL 1. Total dissolved solids, you can see uh, in October it was seen around 35%, but most of the time the total dissolved solids was seen between 10 to 20% reduction. Next, settlable solids, you can see it was seen between 70 to 90% reduction. Total solids, you can see between 60 to 90%, you can see. And then you can see electrical conductivity also. Next slide, please. Next. I got some questions. The questions were shared by, I think, Sonia ma'am only. That not nothing can be.
Dr. Ashraf, we can come to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after almost 2 years of this experiment and field scale analysis, we have dismantled this system. You can see after we have stopped the wastewater to the system, and we have removed all the Salvinia molesta. We shifted that Salvinia molesta for vermicomposting. Means we have not left any waste at the site where we have developed it. All the live plant material was collected and sent to vermicomposting unit of our department. And the sludge that was deposited in the channels, you can see we have we have calculated, and we have removed that sludge also. That was again subjected to vermicomposting, and we got excellent vermicompost out of this sludge. So this we ensure that nothing is left behind after we dismantled the system. And these were the sludge sampler. Next slide, please. These were the sludge samplers that we fabricated. Next, and they were put in the system to monitor the sludge deposition rate throughout the time period. Next. Yes, this is the sludge deposition. This is the diagram, you can see on the x axis you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 channels, 6 zigzag channels that I have shown before. In channel 1 there was 1.2 kilograms of dry weight of sludge, and when we move to from channel 1 to channel 6, you can see the sludge deposition rate has decreased, and in channel 6, last channel, we have only received 0.5 kgs of dry weight sludge. Means when the wastewater moves from channel 1 to channel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sludge deposition rate reduces. That means the system holds back the sludge. It doesn't allow the sludge to go along with the treated water. Next. These are the key observations. These are not necessary. I explained already. Next. 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 Yes. So this was the first pilot plant of the SHEFROL. That was the biggest pilot plant that treated 50,000 liters of wastewater per day. This is the second which we have set up in a village outside. Now we have moved outside the university. First pilot plant we have set inside the university campus. Now we thought that let us go outside, because maybe the wastewater quality may be different outside the university campus. Maybe there will be no proper means fencing, or there will be no proper what I can say monitoring outside the village. Let us see how this SHEFROL system behaves outside, means away from our eyes. Because in university campus we used to go in the morning, after in the evening we used to monitor the system, but outside university we can't go every day. We used to go once in a week. So it was a challenge. Let us see how the SHEFROL system behaves when it is not monitored regularly on daily basis. So this was, next slide please. This was, next slide. Next. No, previous one. Yes, this one. I think this is a village that was I think the name of the village was Kalapet village, because this time I remember. Yes, it was a Kalapet village. It was away from university campus. And there was, you can see the sewage from the village was just moving through a small drainage, and then it was going into the sea. So we thought this is the best place to put in another SHEFROL system to check how it behaves and whether it will survive or it will have some challenges. Next slide. Yes, you can see this village was exactly on the shoreline, east coast road. Means we let the treated wastewater of the system directly into the sea. Means the distance between the setup and the sea was only I think 20 to 30 meters. So this is the exact location. Yes. Next slide. Next slide. You can see this is the schematic. Means there were some houses, they were generating the wastewater. That wastewater we diverted into the settling tank again. You can see the dimensions. And then we have two parallel channels here. We don't have, because this volume of the wastewater was not as much as in first case. The volume of wastewater was very low. So there was a need of two channels only. And you can see in channel 1 we have stocked water hyacinth, and in channel 2 we kept it blank for some stage to check blank versus water hyacinth. And in second, I think after 3 months we stocked channel 2 again in Salvinia. Next. Next. This was the actual how we have done it. Again, we have used JCB for excavation, and we have used those discarded cement sacks, and we filled those cement sacks with the same soil, and we have lined the walls and the baffles of the system. Next. We have done some PVC working also. We have put some pipes to carry the sewage to the system. Again, then HDP sheets were used to line line the base and the side walls of the system. And this is the system before we have stocked these channels with the plants. Means a day or 2 days before when we have stocked these channels with the plants. And this is, you can see day 1 and day 9. And what was the good thing here? We have apprehension that the local people will not like it. They will, because they don't know the value of this thing. But to our surprising, they were very happy. They even helped us in many ways. You can see in previous slide. Can you go please previous slide? No, next. Yes, here you can see these are only locals. I am also there, and some locals were also there. They were very happy, and they contributed their time in setting up the system. And next slide. Next. Here also, when we stocked these channels with the plants, you can see the locals were very happy. They were there only, and they they ensured us that this is the first time they have seen that they have seen these plants everywhere, but they came to know that these plants can be used to treat the sewage, and they were very happy. And you can see next slide, day 35. As I said, in first period of this experiment, we have kept the channel second blank to check blank versus water hyacinth. And after some time, next slide, when next slide, at day 58, we have stocked second channel with salvinia, and that was 21st day. And next slide, here again you can see the treatment level by this system. You can see blank versus water hyacinth. Water hyacinth removed around 70, more than 70% of COD and more than 80% of BOD, and around 95% of settle level solids and around 35% of nitrogen. Next slide. You can see average reduction of COD by water hyacinth and salvinia. And water hyacinth was little or more efficient than salvinia in this system. Next. And yes, these are some observations I have explained already. Next. Yes, here you can see in this second SHEFROL second plant, we have used the treated wastewater to grow some casarina plants. Yes, we bought some casarina saplings and we planted there. Believe me, when I left Pondicherry after 6 years, among 12 casarina saplings, 3 were still there, and they were around 10 feet tall. And I was happy when I left Pondicherry University that I have given at least 3 big casarina plants to that village. Some 9 were, I don't know, they were taken away, or they, but 3 were still there when I left Pondicherry University. Next. Yes, this is the third SHEFROL pilot plant. Again, this was a real life pilot plant, means uh, we were only now testing the SHEFROL in real life situations. We have now completely moved out of the laboratory, lab scale experiments. We have, first was 50,000 liter, second was 10,000 liter, and now we have tested this SHEFROL system for a single household, means a wastewater coming from the kitchen sink. How this SHEFROL system will treat that wastewater that is coming out from a single household. Next. Again, the house was adjacent to the university, but outside the university campus. My friend was staying in this house, and luckily he agreed that he will allow to put up the SHEFROL system in his house, in the backyard of his house. Yes. Next. And this was the schematic of the single household SHEFROL system. Small 2 channels, 3 meter by 0.2 meter. 2 identical channels were dug out, and Salvinia mollusca and Iconic crispus was again used. You can see this is my photograph. I am doing the work here. We have used some discarded bricks in the backyard of that house. I have put those bricks to fashion the channels and to fashion the baffle in between the channels. And again, we have put some settling tank, a box. Usually this box they use to carry those fishes. So I got that box and I have developed that box into setting tank, and then again do channels. You can see at day 3 the channels, how the plants only, you can see water hyacinth plants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 8 water hyacinth adult plants were put in the channel, right hand of the channel, right side of the channel, and very few 10 to 12 these Salvinia mollusta plants were put in left side of the channel. And you can see at day 27, and next slide please. Yes, day 27 and day 53, how these plants have thrived in this system. And then my friend suggested, actually it was not in mind, my friend suggested, why not use this treated wastewater to grow some vegetables. I told okay, it is fine idea. Then we got some vegetable plant saplings, and we tried that also. And in next slide, you can see the system was able to reduce COD to the extent of 70% by water hyacinth and to the extent of 65% by Salvinia mollusta. Next, again BOD was reduced to the extent of 80%, phosphorus next to the extent of 40%, settlable salts to the extent of 90% next. Yes, you can move. Yes, you can next. Yes, you can see. Right hand side photograph, look at, we had to put some nylon mesh as a canopy over these channels because there was a neem tree. And lot of birds used to come and disturb this site. So we had to put, and the leaves of the neem tree were coming down and going into these channels, because anything organic, if going into these channels, it will add to the pollution concentration of the wastewater. So we had put some nylon canopy over the channels. And left hand side photo, you can see the treated wastewater coming out of this system. Right hand side photograph, you can see there were some tomato plants, brinjal plants, and I think this so many vegetable plants we have planted there. And
Dr. Ashraf, if I may butt in, we have to complete our session by 6. So
yes,
if you could, yes, because we also like to have some time for discussion. So if you could kindly just hurry up a bit, so we would have a little time for that. Yes.
okay, ma'am. Give me only
okay.
3 minutes only.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next, please. Next. And this was the fourth SHEFROL pilot plant that we have again installed in university campus, and this used to treat around more than 20,000 liters of wastewater per day. And in this system, we have used Ipomea aquatica, that is commonly known as water spinach, and Marsilia cardifolia, that is again commonly known as four-leaf clover plant. So this is these two macrophytes are different than the earlier ones, and this is the location, yes, of the SHEFROL fourth. We have named it. You can quickly move to the slides. Yes, this is the schematic, same schematic, different dimensions, and this is how we have dug out the soil and put in the system again. And this is where next we have collected this Ipomea aquatica from the wild, means from nearby paddy field, and then we have moved in this system. Next, you can see day 4, day 28, and these plants thrived again in this next. And this is the flow rate. The flow rate was fluctuating because we have not used any device or pump to maintain the flow rate. Next. And this is the average flow rate. Then this is this average COD reduction at 4, 6, and 8 hours. At 8 hours, obviously, when the wastewater stays more in the system, there will be more treatment. Similarly, next BOD again, TK and phosphorus, and overall next This system has also behaved well and treated the wastewater efficiently. These are the key objectives. Next. Yeah, this will be the last slide. Next. Yes, this one. SHEFROL effluents compiled with the discharge limits set by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board of India. You can see, means the CPCB standard is in second column, and then the last column, discharge limit achieved by SHEFROL. So you can see the limits that have been put by CPCB India for these, for use of wastewater for different purposes. All of our SHEFROL systems were in, they were discharging the treated wastewater in the prescribed limits only. Next. And this was one of the best presentation award that we got to our work. Next. And this is a patent certificate that we got to our work. And last, and this is the Hindu, the Times of India, Indian Express have carried our work. Thank you very much. Last. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ashraf. That was a wonderful presentation, and very emphatically described. All the elaborations were very clear. So now quickly to go on to some basic questions. Well, I mean, we understand that everything in this world will have some advantages and some disadvantages. But from listening and looking at your presentation, it seems that it has only advantages. I'm sure there are.
Yes.
So can we also learn about them?
Yes,
please?
There are a couple of major disadvantages are there with this system. One is the breeding of mosquito. When there are summers and there are chances that the mosquitoes will breed in these systems. That is a big con of this system. And another is this system thrives as long as wastewater is coming into system. If wastewater stops only for 3 to 4 days, the system will die. I hope you got my point.
Yes.
Means if the wastewater stops completely for 1 week, the plants will die, then the system will die. So these are the two major cons of this technology. Yes.
So on a community basis, it should still be working, but on an individual house basis, that could be a real problem.
Yes, that will be.
Yes.
Whenever the wastewater stops for too long, maybe for more than a week, the system will collapse.
Got it. So yes, thank you for that. So we also understand that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So how is it that you're saying no waste is being generated?
Yes. That I also explained during presentation. So there are two types of wastes that this system can generate. One waste is if there's a sludge deposition. If we want to dismantle this system and want to shift it to other place, what will happen to this sludge? That I explained that we allowed the sludge to dry up for under the sunlight, means directly under sunlight, and we collect this sludge and we send it for vermicomposting. And the live plants, if those live plants can be again vermicomposted, means as far as much this system doesn't generate a waste of its own. A waste of its own means if we want to dismantle this system and want to move it to another place, except for that HDP sheet lining, except for that there is no other waste that can be generated by the system.
Correct. So that would be a part of the waste, but that is not itself. It is to make it work.
Yes.
Okay. So you have shown us the location of the plants, the community-based plant and then the individual plant. But as many of us are architects here, we always wonder, is there a criteria for choosing the location?
Yeah, there is no criteria. Only criteria for setting up these type of systems is to see where is the availability of wastewater and where is the availability of the land. If you have wastewater channel coming from a village or coming from a hospital or coming from a university, then you have to find a suitable place where we can put this system. So we have some few means we before putting up this system at any place, we have to ensure that wastewater is reaching to that place and there is no there is no unnecessary human intervention or animal intervention in that area.
Correct.
Yes, that
Correct.
these are the points we have to keep in mind.
Because it will not obviously look like a treatment plant. So
Yes.
there is a question of, yes, okay,
Yes.
understood. You have given us the sizes, especially for the 50,000 liter per day, but the internal allowances are given. So we have to, if you have to understand what is the space to be kept for such a plant, we must also be able to tell what is the overall size. So do we have to add some allowances for the partitions?
Yes.
Am I
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, and that those partitions you said can be made out of. Can you just please reiterate that? Out of cement concrete?
Yes, as I have seen that we in these systems we have used empty cement sacks, that we
Okay.
have filled those cement sacks with this soil that we have dug out from the site, and we have fashioned the walls and the bathtubs. But if we go concrete, we can uh, if we go for permanent system, then we can go for concrete system, and then we can the land area requirement will be little lesser than that that was required for the semi-permanent system. And uh, actually these systems, if we have to say how much land area is required for 50,000 liter per day capacity plant, it all depends on HRT, hydraulic retention time. Do you want that your system should have hydraulic retention of 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, 24, 30, 35, 40, or so on? If you want that your system should have 40 or 48 hours of hydraulic retention, then obviously you will require more land area. And if you want no, my this system should have hydraulic
Understood.
retention of 10 hours only, then you will require less land area.
Right. Understood. So
They are interconnected. The land area requirement and the hydraulic retention that you want to maintain in the system, they are interconnected with each other.
Correct. So that is definitely a very important point to remember. Mansi, I know you're in a hurry, so would you like to come in now and have yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sonia. Thank you, Ashraf, for giving such a wonderful presentation and detail with four examples of demonstration. Now, I have two questions. I'll put them just together. One is that you were doing these experiments in Pondicherry, and I'm sure you're aware of the many experiments that are being conducted at Auroville. And I mean, where do you see some of the things which are already carried out at Auroville at a larger scale than the experiments which you are conducting, which you conducted? I mean, can you just throw some light on the comparisons of it?
You have reminded me my favorite place in Pondicherry. And in 6 years, I can count. I have gone 600 times to Auroville.
I can
So
imagine that because
that was my favorite. But till 2016, I don't know something like that was 2000, because I left Pondicherry in 2016.
okay.
I don't know, up to 2016 there was some such kind of
Because they
activity.
claim to treat almost all the water they use and bring it back to the circular water is
Yes,
claimed
actually,
there.
Auroville itself has a similar theme, that they do not want it. They want to use all natural. I have gone there. Auroville village is the basic concept of Auroville village is that they do not want to disturb nature, and they do not want to use any chemical, any mechanical things to manage these things. So there may be some kind of program there, but I don't know, because I have left Pondicherry in 2016.
Fair enough. Now, I have an ethical question which I always ask when we are working on treatment of wastewater. And I'm actually compiling and about to submit this week a paper on nearly 14 methods of treating wastewater and for constructed wetlands. Uh, I just need to understand from you if you have come across any research where there is stress on actually reducing the quality of wastewater or reducing the intensity of wasteness in the wastewater. Do you know any friends? Because we would really like to have them on our platforms or any colleagues which we are aware. Because this is more on, then once we have a wastewater of really high intensity, then we are talking about treating them. So
Correct.
that's not from your presentation, but otherwise, thank you.
Yes. Ma'am, I can tell you one point. I understand your point. When we have strong wastewater, then we require its treatment. Means when the quality of wastewater is strong, we need to treat it. Yeah, I am a Muslim by religion, and in my religion, uh, uh, we have been told in other religions also it is being told every time that eat that much only that you need to eat. उतना ही खाओ जितना आपको खाना है और अपने प्लेट पे एक दाना भी पीछे नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए और जो जब आप कोई कब कोई चावल खाते हो सब्जी खाते हो और जब आप सारा खत्म करते हो रोटी खाते हो तो उस प्लेट को अपनी उंगलियों से चाटो ऐसे पूरा जो भी वहां पे ग्रेवी होगा उसको अपनी उंगलियों से उठाओ क्योंकि वो जो ग्रेवी अगर आप नहीं खाओगे चाटोगे वो दैट विल गो टू द वेस्ट वाटर एंड दैट विल उससे वेस्ट वाटर आपका स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा उसकी ट्रीटमेंट अगर वो ऑयल आप पूरा अपनी उंगलियों से चाटोगे अपनी उंगलियों से पूरा अपने स्टमक में डालोगे आपका प्लेट साफ होगा एक तो आपका वो प्लेट धोने के लिए आपका पानी कम लगेगा और दूसरा जो वो तेल है जो मसाले हैं वो आपके वेस्ट वाटर में नहीं जाएंगे तो ये एक पॉइंट है एक इथिकल पॉइंट है कि आप उतना ही खाओ और अपने प्लेट में एक दाना भी पीछे मत छोड़ो ताकि उसको वॉश करने के लिए आपको पानी चाहिए और वो पानी वेस्ट वाटर में कन्वर्ट हो जाए तो ये
Ethical सवाल है इस पे we can go on and on discussing about it
yes
but for the time being I think I will stop here. Thank you Sonika and thank you Sonia, thank you Ashraf. Over to you Monami.
thank you very much thank you
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation today. It was really interesting to know how this mechanism works, and we hope that more such innovations come in the future, and we have a better edge at treating wastewater.
thank you very much madam I was expecting one question from especially Sonia ma'am and other senior ma'am I forgot her name I was expecting one question from that. Are they still here?
Yes, they are
Yeah,
here.
we are here now. Please.
We're all here. Yes.
I was expecting one question because I belong to Kashmir and Kashmir is a very cold place. The question should
How
have
do you
been.
treat there?
The question should have been: will this system work in cold climatic conditions?
Please answer that. I mean, in fact, I'm also more curious.
Yeah,
Is
I
Kashmir also
eliminated some
producing equal
questions.
amount of wastewater?
Because this system works on three things: sunlight,
Temperate
wastewater.
climate.
Yes, temperate climate. Because the plant has to survive and
It
it will do
needs
the
lot of
job.
sunshine
Yes,
and warmth.
when the temperature goes below zero, means sub-zero, these plants will not survive.
Not survive.
Yes,
So that is another of the disadvantages.
yes. No. This type of technology will not work, but other type of
Yes.
technology
So
is
we will
there.
have a session on
Great.
that
Yes,
actually.
We
yes,
should.
How wastewater is treated in snow
In cold
areas,
climates.
in cold climates.
I will after 1 month I will come up with a paper. I am working on the system
Oh, fantastic.
that will survive in sub-zero climatic conditions and do the same treatment as these systems. I am working
Mhm.
on that system, and I will share the results with you very soon.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insight that you shared with us. We are looking forward to getting the results of your experiments.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you once again to Ashraf Bhat and Sonia ma'am for the wonderful session today. And I take this opportunity now to make the next session announcements. So next week, please join us for the next Friday water session on water arts on 26th of January at 4 p.m. IST on water museums and the role of the arts. Please register at the given registration link and also please circulate. Similarly, next week, again, please do join us for Wednesdays for Water on 24th of January at 5 p.m. IST on a discussion in the pollution series on innovation and way forward in sustainable wastewater treatment. Again, please register and please circulate. More information is available at www.w4w.in. Please join and please circulate. Thanks and bye and take care.